guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Aurora, and today I'm going to be telling you a story about the time I got bullied and framed by an ugly guy I used to have a crush on in middle school. When I was like 8 or 11, I met this guy in my middle school, around my age. For some stupid reason, I had a crush on him. Well, I was getting on him, and I guess at some point I let him use my umbrella. We shared an umbrella and all that stuff, and I thought he was chill, right? Well, later on, a few days later or whatever, when I'm leaving the school, walking out because class ends, I'm walking out with my mother, and this kid, the same exact kid, turns around, looks at me and my mom, and he tells me, "I hope you get hit by a bus." Of course, my mom got like angry at him. I can't even remember what she said to him, but I mean, she definitely yelled at him, that's for sure. It was pretty messed up. I did not expect that because I've never provoked this kid. But anyway, fast forward a little bit. When I come back to school after that, I get called to the office. Now, when I come into the office, I see the same exact kid standing in there, but he's got a couple other friends with him. And they're all holding up crumpled pieces of paper in their hands with writing that covers the entire page from top to bottom. And my principal proceeds to look at me. He's like, "So, you've been writing death threats and saying disgusting things about everyone in these papers?" And I said, "Those are not my papers." Now, these papers, the lettering on these papers was like, one of them had like massive red squiggly lettering. Another one had like fine lettering that was like looked normal, you know, and it was like written in like pencil or pen, and another one was written in like pencil or pen, and it was like in between those kind of styles. So it was obvious that each kid had written those letters and that it was not from me, because if you looked at that writing was not mine, and you can tell that those writing was different. Like each letter had different writing styles. So I pointed it out to him. I'm like, "Do you see the letters on the papers? Like, those are literally not mine." And like the worst I've ever written about is how, like, maybe that I used to like hate like my dad or something, but I've never talked about anybody else when I was an 8-year-old, and I never did say violent things about wanting to kill people or something, really, not as far as I'm concerned, and actually, like, so, like, and I admitted, like, okay, one of those letters looked like they could be mine, but the rest of them are not, you know? And he looked at me, he's like, "I don't believe you. I believe you wrote all of those letters." And I was in shock because I knew he was just trying to frame me and ruin my education on purpose. Like, he did not care about me. I think he just wanted to ruin my education, and he did. And, you know, freaking, yeah, like, I pointed out, and yeah, and the boys proceed to tell the principal how they dug the garbages, not the garbage, they dug the paper out of the garbage and brought it to him. Like, they were digging in the garbage, snooping through my teacher's garbage just to dig out papers that I had written. But those were not all the papers I written. Like, maybe only one of them was, and it wasn't even that violent. Like, I was probably actually saying suicidal things, not violent things. So the fact that I was framed for being like violent is kind of weird. It's, yeah. And yeah, so anyway, I ended up like, yeah, so yeah, they basically framed me. They didn't, principal decided that he was gonna have me sit in the office for like months, and I wasn't allowed to go for recess. I wasn't allowed to go to class. I wasn't allowed to ask teachers for help with any of my homework or work, so I had no one there to get the ball rolling. It sucked. But yeah, so yeah, and eventually I ended up leaving that school, you know. It was a terrible, terrible situation. Let's see, what else do I have? But yeah, so that's the end of my story. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.